Caliop stood frozen. Her mind struggled to grasp what had just happened. Then, with sudden resolve, she reached into her backpack and pulled out the vinyl and the scroll. Raising her voice with strength, "Grendel." The Titan stopped. His burning eyes locked onto her. There was something ancient in his gaze. A flicker of recognition. His voice echoed like a buried cavern within a mountain. "Interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen that." Silence fell over the taiga, broken only by the cold wind and the slow creaking of ice. Fate had shifted. And the story had only just begun. Grendel, massive and imposing, sat heavily on a boulder, which groaned beneath his weight, as if the earth itself were holding its breath. His ember-lit eyes flickered as he studied the scroll in Caliop's hands. Grendel, deep, measured voice, like a mountain stirring awake. "That scroll, it's ancient. In forgotten times, we trolls used it to communicate across great distances. Humans carried it among us. In those days, trolls and humans were friends." Caliop leaned in, a sly smile curling her lips, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Caliop, arms crossed, impatient. "Well, how very enlightening. But, can you translate it? And could you maybe talk faster? You know, like, normal speed." She paused, then without the slightest shame, plopped down beside him, batting her eyes in mock sweetness like a mischievous kitten. Grendel, tilting his head in amusement, as if observing a particularly strange creature. "Always so impatient. Fine. But I'll ask something in return." Caliop snorted, amused. Caliop, raising an eyebrow, teasing. "Really? The classic trade. Come on, surprise me." Grendel narrowed his eyes, intrigued. His voice deepened, taking on a reverent tone, almost as if reciting an ancient riddle. "Grendel, with solemn weight. Tell me, what's your opinion on string theory? And the role of astrology in the fate of worlds?" Caliop stared at him in silence. She blinked. Twice. Then, without a word, she placed her hand on his mossy, stone-covered leg. And yanked off a clump of moss with a sharp tug. Caliop, flat tone, locking eyes with him as she let the moss fall. "Go to hell. Ask me something else. Something that won't take me a lifetime. I'm not immortal." The Titan stared at her, a mix of surprise and confusion in his glowing eyes. Then, like a child caught doing something naughty, he slouched a little. From behind, Max, still blooded and unsteady, let out a rough laugh. Max, with a crooked grin, wiping blood from his mouth. "Ha! I like her style." Grendel folded his arms, putting on an exaggerated look of indignation. Grendel, sighing in mock exasperation. "Fine. Double challenge then. First, tell me your name." Caliop gave him a side glance, clearly suspicious. Caliop, with a weary sigh. "Caliop." Grendel nodded slowly. Grendel, with a sly smile. "Second, dance." Caliop blinked. Caliop, in disbelief. "What?" Grendel shrugged with theatrical indifference. Grendel, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Humans are hilarious when they dance. I like watching you do absurd things." Caliop shot him a deadly glare, then glanced at Max, who simply smiled, clearly enjoying the show. Caliop, looking skyward as if pleading with the gods. "Fine, fine." She stood up and, with absolute reluctance, began an awkward, improvised dance. A chaotic mix of stiff robot moves, clumsy hip sways, and what could only be described as a failed attempt at flamenco footwork. The colossus burst into deep, echoing laughter, like a roar bouncing off cave walls. Grendel laughing, snow shaking from his shoulder. Wonderful. Absurd, but wonderful. He extended his massive hand toward her. Grendel, still amused. Give me the scroll. With a huff, Caliop handed it over. As he unrolled it between his stony fingers, his eyes lit with an ancient glow, as though some buried memory of a forgotten world had stirred. The taiga fell silent, and with it, fate became uncertain. Grendel, frowning, voice heavy and shaded with unease. I no longer see as I once did. You'll have to read it. Caliop unrolled the scroll on the ground, her eyes full of caution and curiosity. Caliop, let's see what secrets you're hiding. She rose slowly, her breath deepening as she scanned the scroll. Her gaze caught a long stick lying nearby in the snow. With steady movements, she began tracing runes into the hardened frost, each symbol rising from the surface, as if it had been waiting for this moment. As the markings took shape, the air grew heavier. A chill swept through the taiga, and a faint, almost imperceptible murmur slithered between the trees. Dagmar let out a low growl, uneasy. Max, still recovering, narrowed his eyes, his instincts sharpening as something stirred inside him. Grendel, eyes fixed on the runes, his expression hardening, voice deepening. These words belong to a troll brother. He paused. The calm once etched into his stone face now gave way to a sharp, uneasy intensity. Caliop felt the temperature drop another degree. Grendel, his voice, a mineral echo laced with ancient warning. It's a warning. The Titan lowered his head. His burning gaze locked onto Caliop. What followed was almost a whisper, but it made the ground beneath her feet tremble. Grendel, don't listen to a man